Hey guys, Harry back here. So today we're going to look at the vocabulary that we've learned in today's lesson. The first one being 天气. 天 literally meaning sky. So this is 天 here. And the way I like to remember this one is it kind of looks like a person with his arms out looking at the sky. But imagine if I had like a really wide head at the top and it's just like, you know, and he has his legs out in the bottom, arms out, and a very wide head at the top looking at the sky. Next we have qi, which means air. So if you look at the character, you can see the character itself resembles, you know, like floating air with the draft going that way. And you see the little tail at the end is where a runaway bit of air has escaped. And that's how I like to remember qi, 天气. And the second word we have is 周末, which means weekend. The first word, 周, means week. You can see there's a bit of a little box, a door frame that holds everything inside of it. At the bottom you have a ko, and then on top of the ko you have a tu, and that makes 周, which means week. 末, which means end. Over here is more, and you can see it's comprised of a mu, which means wood. At the top of the mu, you see there's an extra line, a horizontal line, and you can see this as kind of like the top end of a tree, the canopy of the tree. So the top end of the tree, so mu, end. 周末, week end. So the next character is kan, which means look. Kan, look. The way I like to remember this is when I'm shading my eyes from the sun, so you don't get small eyes like me, you can see further away. So that means at the top of the letter we have a shou radical, which is my hand at the top. And at the bottom we have mu, which means eyes. And if you draw your eyes, you get the rectangle, and you get your pupil inside. And that kind of looks like the character mu. And so then we get kan, which means look. The next character is bi, which means to compare or to compete. This is a character here, bi. And the way I like to remember this one is two old friends going fishing. You see the guy at the back on the left, he's fishing like this, and the guy on the right is fishing like this. Now that's because the guy on the right is closer to the sea and he has a bigger fish, so his arm's raised a bit higher than the guy on the left. So that's the character bi, to compare or to compete. So our last phrase for today is 不冷不热, which means not cold and not hot. So our first word that we're going to learn here is 不. So the way I like to remember this one is a person standing with their legs together, hands to their sides, and they have long hair and they're shaking it in a no, and that makes the top of the 不. 不. Our next word is 冷, which is cold. So on the side we have the water droplets, the water radical, the two dots. They can be rain or snow in winter, so it's cold. And on the right we have 冷, which means order, so kind of like a snow order, rain order, it's cold. And that's how I remember 冷, cold. Our last character is 热, which is hot. 热. On the bottom, you see the four dots. I like to remember that as the fire, you know, the fire which is hot on a gas stove or something. And on the left, we have a 提手 radical, which is a hand, putting the 丸子 into the fire, so cooking the meatballs. And that's where it's hot. You need it to be hot to cook a meatball, yeah? So, 热, hot. So that's all for today. I really hope you do remember these words. And see you guys next time. 再见.